Hey everybody, Big Toad here, back with another video on Raid Shadow Legends. I have some shards to open today, and I've got 6 of them. The special event we got going on is a chance from these blues to get Helicath. Now it's a 10 times chance, which is actually very low. Because there's only like a 0.5% chance even off a blue shard I can pull a legendary. And there's so many blue champions that there's not a great chance to pull it, so even a 10 times chance is pretty minuscule. Now if you watch Scratch's recent interview with a raid employee, they talk about that they know that that's really low and they're going to do something about it. But I'm going to pull these blues anyway. I haven't pulled shards in a while. I got 6 saved up and I just want to have some fun. So join me while I pull some shards. And what do I get? Dachi. Okay, so let's look at the reviews. He's actually not a bad blue. He's got pretty high scores. If we look at his skills, he attacks one enemy with a provoke. A provoke's always good. Attacks all enemies and places a shield buff on this champion for 2 turns, equal to 20% of their max HP. So, I mean, that's not bad, but he's a defense champion, so that's a bit wonky. You want to equip him for HP or defense, because that's where his damage comes from, his defense. His A3, after he gets ascended, it's going to place a block debuff on all allies for 1 turn. Also places a 30% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. So, you know, not bad. He's got some good block debuffs, skills, provoke, and shield. So that's a pretty good kit for a rare. Let's go ahead and pull another one. Hey, got an epic. Tashada. Now, that's pretty exciting. You get yourself an epic off of Blue Shard. So, but look at these scores off of this thing. Yeah, and that's really accurate to what you can do. Campaign locations. What do I need this on campaigns? I'm never going to use this champion on campaigns. Why would you even want to use this champion on campaigns? You're never going to use it there. You've got your campaign farmer, and you've got better champs to help you 3-star all the way out to the end of Nightmare. So I don't even know why it would be rated as a 4. I don't even see the point in rating most champions on campaigns. If they're not better than Kale, then why bother to rate them? You're not going to use them. And she's not better than Kale. So let's look at her skills. Anyway, attacks 1 enemy, has a 50% chance, placing a 60% increased defense buff on this champion for 2 turns. She can't even put the debuff on herself except for 50%. Now she can get that up to 75 when she's fully booked, but that's pretty bad. Next, attacks 3 times at randoms. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing a 15% weaken debuff for 1 turns. Now, weaken is nice, and once you get it fully ascended and you get it fully buffed, well, that's a 100% chance. So that's not too bad. And then revives an ally with 40% HP and 40% turn meter, then heals all allies with 15% max HP. That's actually not bad for a defense champion to come in with a revive. So if you don't have a reviver, then this would be one to start with. But Barbarian, you might use her more in Faction Wars, and that's what is interesting is Faction Wars. She's got a 4.6. Yeah, that's where her value is in Faction Wars. Not a bad one for Faction Wars, but no other value. So I would not rush to level this one up at all, because maybe I'll get better champions. There's a lot better Barbarians out there for Faction Wars. All right, let's roll another one out here. It's kind of disappointing when you pull an epic and you can't really, a totem. Yeah, it's got some pretty decent scores on it, rated. You can see on Sand Devil's Necropolis 5. That's not bad. So she's not a bad one. I'll probably get her maybe up to 40 and use her in Orc faction for Faction Wars. And in my experience, on most of my accounts, the hardest one to get done is Orcs. Orcs are kind of weak for a faction. So we attack 1 enemy, 2.5% poison debuff. Attacks an enemy. Let's go ahead and look at the Ascended. Attacks 1 enemy, has a 50% chance of removing 1 random buff from the target. Places a 15% continuous heal buff on this champion. For 2 turns, a buff is removed. That's not bad. Kind of spotty. Attacks all enemies. At least you got an AoE here. Places a 30% decreased defense debuff on the target for 2 turns. Not bad. But again, would not invest a lot in her. Maybe for Faction Wars early, maybe to 40, but I wouldn't go beyond that unless I got desperate. Okay, another epic. That's really great. Skiramis. High Elf Epic. That's good out of these shards. Look at those scores. I was pretty excited when I saw this one pop up. Let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. Attacks one enemy, has an 80% chance of stealing 15% of the target's turn meter. Now that's cool. Has a 20% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn if the target's turn meter is fully depleted by the skill. Fully depletes the turn meter, stuns them. And that buff debuff chance goes up another 10. So that's a 30% chance for that. 90% chance of stealing the target debuff. Not bad at all. That's a cool skill, stealing the turn meter. A2, effortless superiority. Attacks all enemies, decreases the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. Also has a 60% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns. And when you buff that out all the way, you get another 15. So you're at 75% chance of placing that decrease attack, which is not bad. And decrease the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. Fills this champion's turn meter by 10% for each buff that has its duration decreased. That's a cool skill. Again, you can see he's all about turn meters and about increases. And so that's cool. Now his A3, let's go ahead and look at it. Now he's got this 25% chance increase when he's fully booked. So that would be 100% when he's fully booked of placing a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Now he's got to be ascended to 3rd level to even get that. But 100% chance of placing a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Now there's no attack with this, but a 100% chance of putting that provoke down. And then places a counterattack and a 15% continuous heal buff on this champion for 2 turns. So he provokes, and then he places a counterattack on himself, which explains why when he places this, it doesn't attack. Although it would be great because then he could get like 3 attacks. But then he places that counterattack and a 15% continuous heal buff on himself. So that's cool. So once he gets that, he's going to throw his heal. He's going to throw a counterattack on all enemies. Yeah, you're going to want to get his HP up there, increase his damage there, increase his damage there. Yeah, keep him from dying. And he's got an aura HP in all battles by 25%. Yeah, looks like a pretty interesting champion. I've never had a chance to use him before, so I was excited when I saw him. I'm anxious to give him a try. All right, 2 more shards. Let's give it a go. That's pretty good to get 2 epics out of these. Oh, another epic. This is crazy. Hoskirl. All right, this guy. Again, what is going on here? Remember I was whining earlier because I couldn't pull anything? Now it's 3 epics. This is actually pretty amazing. Exciting. You can tell. So his A1 attacks 1 enemy, has a 30% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. So that's decent. It's, not a big deal. He's just going to club somebody with his cudgel here. And maybe get a stun. But even fully booked, that's only a 40% chance with 1 hit. So, you're not banking on that one. But it is a defense champ, which is nice. Attacks all enemies. So he does have an AoE. He has a 50% chance of placing a stun. So now he's got another chance to place a stun. So when he gets that book, that is up to 25% more. So he's a 75% chance. So he's going to get some stuns going out. Decreases the turn meters of enemies under stun by 15%. Not only does he put the stun out 75% chance on everybody, but then if it happens, he's going to decrease their turn meter. Let's go to A3. Removes all stun debuffs. This guy is a stun master. He is Hoskirl, the stun master. He removes all stun debuffs from all allies, then places a 60% increased defense buff and a 25% increased resistance buff on all allies for 2 turns. That resistance buff is getting to be more popular. The later you get in the game, the more popular resistance is. Early game, like where this account is right now, resistance is not real valuable. Later you go into in-game, mid-game and on, it becomes more and more valuable. You just have to resist more. There's a lot of people with high accuracy in arenas. So these increased resistance skills get more valuable later in the game. Interesting skill. Removes all stun debuffs from all allies and places a 60% increased defense. That's great. That would also work. Now it's only going to get on the 4 turn, but if you get it on a 4-3 rotation on the clan boss, you could actually use him in clan boss to remove the stun, put an increased defense and increased resistance on. But he could at least, if you had nobody else, he could remove the stun. And then he's got the 3-star immune to stun debuffs. If you get him ascended to 3rd level, increases the damage inflicted by all allies by 15% when attacking enemies under stun debuffs. Cool skill. If he can just lay out the stuns, even better. It's another interesting champion. I've got him on a couple of my other accounts. I have not used him. I've just got so many champions. You'll find out later as you get further in the game, you get so many champions, you don't know what to do with them. All right, let's go one more. This is pretty darn good so far to get 3 epics out of these. I just need that legendary. Oh, well, I can't complain. Okay, well, I got a llama beer. I got me a baby goat. Yeah, not sure what I'm going to do with the baby goat, but not real exciting. Attacks one enemy 2 times and has a 25% chance of filling a random ally's turn meters by 5%. Pretty low, but he gets at least it's a two-hit attack. Then it's an AoE attack, places a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. That's nice. And then he heals the target ally by 25% of their max HP. And when it's ascended, and places a revive on death debuff on them for 2 turns. So that's pretty cool. Not a bad skill for a rare. And I think what you'll find is Faction Wars. I think that's where you're going to want to use him. He's a Skinwalker. I have never used him on any of my accounts because I have such powerful Skinwalkers on all of my accounts. So again, I wouldn't bring him all the way up to 60 unless I thought I could push into completing that faction war. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. I'd keep him 40. Okay, this has been a Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm Big Toad, and I am out.